Hey, welcome to episode 128 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. Today we have a special episode. We're going to Traci, who's coming on, and I are going to talk about TalkSwap, and we'll tell you more about what it is and stuff. But first, do you ever think about that? There's people. Do you ever have people in your life that you really want to get to know better, but you always end up talking with them about the same things and never really know what to say? I've had people like that sometimes. And Traci and I discovered TalkSwap, and that and it has really helped us get to know many dimensions of each other's lives better. So with that, back in a minute.
Today's guest, Traci Robinson.
Hey, welcome back to Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. Let me tell you a little about Traci quick, and then I'll bring her on. Over the years, Traci's long and varied careers have given her diverse interests. Over the years, Traci's long and varied careers have given her diverse interests and become a bountiful place from which to draw insights and reflections. Traci is fortunate to have worked in theater in San Francisco, to have helped multimedia and music, to have helped develop, trouble reading today, to have helped develop multimedia and music software in Silicon Valley, and worked in film and television productions in Los Angeles before settling in New York State. Traci was recognized with an Emmy Award nomination as the executive producer of Amargosa, which also won an Emmy for cinematography. She has been a consistent multi-million-dollar club member at the Corcoran Group, a real estate firm, since 2012, and achieved Salesperson of the Year in 2021 for her local office. Traci is a proud mom and avid explorer of life. Please, without further ado, help me welcome Traci. Hi,
Jason,
Traci.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
So what are we doing today?
So, we're doing a talk swap, which you sort of invented many, many years ago when we met I think we met in 2014 in Venice at a Kyle Cease retreat. And
It's unbelievable. We've almost known each other 10 years.
I know. And we've been doing talk swap for almost 10 years. About probably, for a while it was every week, then it was every other week, then we, lost some time, but we're pretty much every other week again for a really long time. And it was your idea, Talk Swap, that, you got up on stage and spoke at Kyle's weekend retreat. And I thought you were amazing. I burst into tears with the story that you were talking about yourself. And I was like, who is this guy? And then you talked about Talk Swap. And I was like, well, let's do it. You lived in San Diego. I lived in New York. So we had Zoom. So we would do it. And, we both want to be and have been speakers on the stage. So we were sort of practicing, right? Like just off the cuff, just talking. And then the other person would reflect on what they thought. It's almost like counseling session too. And so it gives us a chance to sort of do a mini talk in 15 minutes or something, take a break, and then switch with reflections on both ends. And it's just really been so helpful for me. It's like better than therapy. And and we always joke that, our rates are going up. I charge you like $2,000 a session, and I charge you $2,000 a session, so it pretty much zeroes out. But our prices keep going up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in the beginning we would kind of we would do those makeup like funny icebreaker exercises, like
Make weird noises, and I was like, I don't want to do this, but you didn't mind, so I did it. I'm an old actor. We made all kinds of funny, warm-up exercises.
but eventually those went by the wayside and we just wanted to do the actual talk swap.
Mm-hmm. And we've, over the years, I keep saying, like, we should record these. These are really interesting. Like, if people just happen to come upon what we're talking about, and it's really not even the content, it's sharing our lives and responding, that people would get a lot out of it. I've been saying that for years. And so I'm so happy that you put it together. So we're actually going to do it in front of people and see what happens. I have a couple things I want to discuss, just little bloop, 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 but no paragraphs or anything. That's sort of what I do in case I go blank.
To all of you listening, how often in life have you been doing a thing or had an idea and said, "Oh, I want to do something with it," but then keep not doing anything with it, and so today we're going to do something with TalkSwap. Traci, do you want to talk first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Awesome, because I like going second, so thank you.
Okay. All right. So today is March 22nd, 23. And I just read on some Twitter post that it's a palindrome, 32223, 32223. And that not only is it today a palindrome, but for the next 10 days, they're all going to be palindromes.
What?
So it's a really special, auspicious time. Also, it's also the equinox where, it's exactly 12 hours and 12 hours. It's not like more sun or less sun. It's exactly the same. And it also lines up with the solstice, which is moving from winter, at least in the northern hemisphere, into spring. So yesterday was the first day of spring. So it's really auspicious to have all those things lined up.
Wow.
And I want to talk about, so my son is turning 13 on Friday in 2 days. And we're going to have I know. And we're going to have an overnight on Saturday with a bunch of only 4 boys, but it'll be too much for me. And
They'll want to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and it'll be so tame.
it'll be quiet. So, but in the same thing, at the same time, I'm with this group, this sort of like carnivore get better group where you can be vegan or carnivore or keto, but you have this protocol that we're on a 90-day challenge. And part of that challenge is doing a liver flush. So I haven't done it yet, but you really should do it on a new moon, which was 2 days ago. So you can do it 2 days before the new moon or 2 days after, and it clears you out. This really clears all your crap out and clears out your liver, clears your bile ducts, all this. And I was kind of scared to do it, so I haven't been doing it. But since it's such an auspicious time, today's the day I have to do it. I really should do it today. So I have to drink Epsom salts at 6 and 8, and then something else at 10. And your going to the small room with the hole in the floor a lot. And when I woke up today, I was just kind of feeling like, I kind of feel like I'm almost getting achy and like, do I have a fever? Like, am I getting, and I told myself, I'm getting spring fever. I'm not getting sick. I have spring fever, but I kind of feel like crap. And I said, you know what? I don't think I want to be going to the bathroom for hours all night and then I have to do it again tomorrow morning, plus getting ready for Theo's birthday. So I think I'm just going to take an Epsom salt bath instead. But I really wanted to do it, but I don't, if I don't feel 100%, that would be a bad idea. So that's one thing, that I was hoping to do it. I got everything ready to do it. I planned to do it, but my body's saying, not a good idea. You really have to listen to me, not the plans, not the sky, not the stars. And maybe, it's supposed to be releasing a big energy. And also Pluto is coming back into power tomorrow. And Pluto hasn't been in this alignment since the Revolutionary War, 1776.
Wow.
So it's like a big deal. So I'm like, maybe I just can't be that big deal. Maybe I just have to rest and do the best I can. So I'm kind of doing that. I'm kind of bummed out, but in the meantime, in a good way, like to change, like, cause I'm a real estate broker all the time and I want to change it up a little bit, that. And so I tried to have an appointment with my girlfriend who I met at Kyle Cease, another one, not the one you were at. And she was cool. She goes, I liked you the minute you got up on stage and talked. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah. So anyway, she's got her real estate license for like 5 years now. So I want to talk to her. I want her to be my first interview. And I'm going to I hope I can do it because I want to do it, is a real estate podcast where I interview different real estate agents from all over the country. Because I'm in sort of a boutique, high-end, fantasy world of, $1 million houses, which is interesting and kind of cool. And, movie stars live out here. But I want to be on the level of, real people and have real discussions. And everybody's from different places. So the real estate business, real estate is local. It's mostly local. It's who lives there, who sold there. It's really just within your little neighborhood. So I'm kind of excited about that. But when I was going to have a little talk swap with her, really we're just going to Zoom, she got really sick on Saturday and said, I feel terrible. I can't do it. I'm like, So I'm just wondering, do you keep pushing? Like, do you push for what you want, or do you listen to what's happening around you? Like, well, I kind of feel achy, and do I want to be drinking salt water and going to the bathroom all night and then doing it again in the morning if I don't feel good? And do I want to tell my girlfriend, just put on some lipstick? I'll talk to you anyway. It doesn't matter. You'll feel fine. You'll be good. You'll pull up. So I guess I'm thinking that, again, I just have to sort of lay back, sit back and relax and wait for the universe to sort of catch up, or wait for me to catch up with the universe. I don't know which is which, but it feels, very powerful right now with the equinox, Pluto, the solstice, palindrome season, and my son's 13th birthday. The end.
Thank you. I love that you're aware of a lot of cool stuff that I would have missed, like today and the days for the next 10 days are palindromes. So that means they read the same forward and backwards, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. That's amazing.
Yeah. So my son's birthday is 3-4. 4, 2, 3. Now, how can that be a palindrome? Oh, because it's 3, 2, 4, 2, 3. So 4 is the single number in the middle, but it's 3, 2, 3, 2 on either end. But today's pretty auspicious because it's 2, 2 in the middle, 3 2s. Anyway, I don't know much about palindromes, but I just saw it and I thought, okay, that's not nothing.
And Pluto's coming back into alignment for the first time since the Revolutionary War. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And the your kid is going to be 13, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember when I was visiting, he was just a little kid.
Yeah. It's like
Gosh.
5 or 6. Oh, I just want to say, so for his birthday, he's turning 13. We're not Jewish, but I always like that sort of rite of passage that boys do when they're 13. They have their bar mitzvah. If you're a girl, you're bat mitzvah, and you learn about moving into young adulthood. And he was raised in the Waldorf tradition, and they do lots of nature things. And I thought, I'm going to create my own rite of passage for Theo. So
No way.
it's coming together. I think I'm going to like build a fire out on the beach and maybe start it with him. And we'll have to get a couple other people. Maybe his dad will come, and I'm going to hide. So what I've done, and maybe I'm going to ask you to do it. I'm asking people who knows Theo for a long time to write a little thing about what it's like to go from 12 to 13, to become a teen, to become a young man. What did you go through when you were 12 to 13? What is some wisdom that you could impart? What do you see in Theo? And so I've asked a handful of people as teacher, and I'm going to put them all into a time capsule, and I'm going to hide it, and then I'm going to make them go find it in the dark. And
in the dark.
Well, my brother is giving him night goggles. So I'm going to give him his night goggles. And there's this Cherokee story where this boy was turning 13, and his father said, "We're going to go out on a vision quest. We're going to, so he said, "So what you're going to do?" He sat him on a log and he blindfolded him. And he said, "Don't make a noise. Don't take off the blindfold. No matter what you hear, don't run away. You need to stay here until the sun comes into your eyes in the morning." So this little kid, he's 13, but that's little, sits on this thing all night, just like scared to do anything. And when the sun comes in the morning, he takes off his blindfold and looks next to him, and his father's been sitting next to him the whole night to make sure he was okay. But he didn't know his father was there the whole time.
Oh, wow.
So I want to create some kind of ritual that he'll always remember. And I'm going to get one of those things that you light and it blows away and you make a wish. So I'm not doing it this weekend because the weather's not great and I haven't gotten the lamps yet from China. They're someplace in the ocean. So we'll wait till a nicer day. But I'm excited about doing that for him.
And so that ritual really marks, just an amazing part of his life. Going from being a kid into the teenage years, and speaking of ritual, you were thinking of doing another ritual, a liver cleanse, and I have to say I recently had a colonoscopy, and the cleanse sounds very similar, and so I'm sure it's good to do, but but it doesn't sound I guess not all rituals that are meaningful are necessarily enjoyable.
Yeah.
But so you have the option of doing this liver cleanse, but you're listening to yourself and realizing you don't feel good, so you realize you have the option not to do the liver cleanse too, which is huge. I think so often we as humans do things because we think we should do things, and even if we're like, oh, I should do that thing, I don't want to do that thing at all, but I should really do that thing, and then we'll miserable in the imagery of a liver cleanse. I won't go into the imagery at all, but it's a very vivid example of doing something and being not, and then not being fun, and if we're not completely on board with like, I want to take on this challenge, I want to be courageous at this moment, it would just be a miserable experience.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just going to hold on to my shit for a couple more weeks. You're supposed to be letting go of stuff, cleaning stuff out. And I guess I'm not ready to let it go. I mean, part of me says you should do it. You can start at, what do I have to do? 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. But you know what? I just don't want to feel bad. So I'm not going to do it. But I feel bad for not doing it. Oh, well.
So you're choosing not to do it and feel bad by doing it, but then you're choosing to feel bad about deciding to feel good and not to do it. So why not just turn those both into feeling good? Like sometimes we choose not to do things we think are good for us in our best interest, and why not feel good about the choice? I try that with speaking of cleansing, I should, but I like eating sugary things of all kinds a lot, and instead of and so now I'm trying to reduce it some, but when I do it, I want to just do it and feel good about doing it, and keep that energy going. And I'm excited that you're starting a podcast on real estate and going to talk to people in different parts of the country. I might have a few names of people, of great people you can interview if you're interested.
Definitely.
But so often when we get a good idea and are excited about it, obstacles come up, like the first person you want to interview is sick and you want a pre-meeting, but she's not feeling well. So and that doesn't mean she'll never feel well. It doesn't mean you guys will never meet. It doesn't mean, well, you won't do the inaugural interview, but not yet.
Not yet.
So much of life takes patience. so much of life takes patience. You mentioned spring coming, and and do you guys still have or have you had snow on the ground? When's the
Uh,
last time
last,
you?
I think I want to say last week we had this sort of squall and we did have snow. It didn't stick for more than a couple of hours, but we did have some snow.
Oh, poor you guys. You have snow and it sticks for a couple hours. We've had snow on the ground since December,
Mm.
December, January, February, March, 4 months, and now we're getting excited because the highs are getting into the 40s during the day, but still dropping down in the 20s at night. It's
Oh
been
my
a
goodness.
long winter, and speaking of patience, life has a lot of waiting involved. I'm sure when your son was 7 or 8, sometimes he wanted to be older, and sometimes he wanted to be 13, and he's like, "When is it coming?" And now it's finally here. Life takes patience, but then good things suddenly come true, and thanks for reminding me of that. On 3 3 2 2 2 2 3, 3 2 2 2 3. I love it. Cool. The end.
All right, now it's your turn. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So now it's my turn, and I really have no idea what I'm going to talk about here because I've had a busy day and haven't made a list even. But I'm noticing, and this is interesting, that sometimes I set up and fill up the frame, and sometimes I go way down and get really small. And that's just because I have a habit of slouching, and I haven't done yoga for a long time, so my back muscles are probably not. But they probably could use strengthening. But how often in life do I do this? Like get really excited and really confident about my ideas and about my business and about the opportunities coming my way and say, "Oh, this is great. I have brilliance within me. I'm excited to share." And then those feelings are so great. But then sometimes when I get too excited, I'm like, but yeah, but really. So you have a bunch of great ideas, Jason. Bunch of great ideas, but can you really bring them to fruition? Or and then you reach out to one person and they didn't call you back, and you reach out to another person and they didn't call you back, and you reached out to another person and they didn't call you back, and pretty soon I like I'm Jason. I just hope I can survive through the day. I want to do the least possible because nothing works out. Now, which Jason is more I mean, not judging either Jason as good or bad. Which Jason is more appealing? this Jason. Yeah, I'm full of good ideas. There's so much I want to share with people. So many conversations I want to have. So many questions I want to ask. So many people I want to interview. So many books I want to write. So many ideas I want to share. So many audiences I want to speak to. I want to speak to. Yes, I love it. This Jason. I'm worried. There's so many things to worry about, and I have a speech impediment, and I'm always at war with myself, and I have ideas, but they're probably not good. They're probably pie in the sky. Probably. And soon I'm just thinking of can I get through the day without really embarrassing myself, and wow, it's it's so interesting having both in us the choice to be my full self and do things that sometimes are scary but feel good, and sometimes are immensely challenging but feel great, like on Monday I took a road trip, Tracy. I went to 20 towns in Iowa. This is just a day trip. I started at 6 in the morning and got home at 10 at night. And I went to 20 small towns I had never been to, and I stopped and took pictures in each town. And there was one town I went to later in the day, and I just didn't see much there, and I only took one picture of the post office. But most towns I got captivated by, and I found so many cool things. And it was challenging because I wanted to get home by 10, and so I didn't fall asleep on the road, and just so challenging, and being out on the road alone, like could get a flat tire, the car could break down, could all these things could happen. But to do something like that, running a is kind of like running a marathon, and I love it because I like for the first 6 or 7 towns I'm kind of keeping track, Laden, Moday or whatever, on and on. But after 7, I lose count, and by the end of the day, I have no idea how many towns Have been to. So I get home and I look at the map and count all the towns, and it's just so great. And do I know exactly how to monetize it? I do not. But I'm finding out my primary goal in life is not to figure out how to monetize what I love. My primary goal in life is to both love what I'm doing and be of service, and through that the money will come as it comes, and and my small self is like, but how you just spent a whole day a Monday no less, driving around and taking pictures all day. Money didn't come to you, Jason. No, far from that. You your hours are valuable and you spent them all that day on the road. You could have been working. You pay for gas. You pay for food. You lost money rather than making money. But that's a small me calculation. The more expansive part of me just realizes that abundance doesn't always come in absolutely linear ways. And I'm getting more comfortable with that. And with just saying I don't know, how will I monetize this habit I have, this beloved thing I do of going on day trips and taking photos. I don't know, and I'm becoming more comfortable with the not knowing part of life. Like I'm realizing, like it's taken me a long time to realize that I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I don't have the answers. I can be like, I don't know, but I can find the answers. I don't know. I have problems, but problems have solutions. I'm breathing. I can talk to people. I can try and find solutions. I can try one thing, and if that doesn't work, I can try another. I can create. I can look on the web. I can read books. There's so much to do, and I'm realizing more and more that that it just aside from being attractive to other people and an attention getter and having people respond to you with more enthusiasm, feeling confident just feels better. This pose feels better, kinda. I need to strengthen my bad muscles, but it feels better than this pose. Eh, well, you get the point. The end.
Well, I write what Jason is saying just so I can sort of reflect back and look at it. He's good at remembering what I've said, but I like to write things down. And I'm sorry that my computer is on a wiggly table, probably bugging people. But
And I speak slowly because so Traci can write things down. Actually, I speak slowly because I have a speech impediment. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I'm all yours now.
okay, I'm looking for a quote that I saw yesterday by Jack Cornfield, and maybe I'll find it while I'm reflecting. But you said when you were still reflecting to me, you said, "Not yet, not yet," and that sort of struck me as like a full sentence, but also has so many meanings. Like it's not now, it's maybe within reach, but how far away is the not yet? It's not yet, or it's not yet, or is it tomorrow? Is it next year? And I've been walking on the ocean, and I've just been getting out and getting in better shape. And, And I remember thinking, well, am I going to be able to do this? And whatever it was that I was thinking about. And I was like, well, not yet, not yet. But, really trying to be in the present moment is really what, we'll all be happier if we're in the present moment. So that, I just wanted to say that I like that, not yet. Not as a thing, but as something to overcome, I guess. Slouching, that you have brilliance within, but sometimes when we slouch, we can't really feel it. We feel kind of deflated. And I remember seeing Tony Robbins a couple weeks ago saying that he used to do this exercise. I don't know if he still does it, but he's like, okay, sit on your chair, put your hands behind your back, and if you can, put your feet up on the desk, or on the chair, and just sit there and be like, and after about 30 seconds, you feel great. You feel in charge. You're like, yeah, who am I meeting with? What's the agenda? And you just feel really powerful. And so it's good to do that. And there was another stance that I don't remember, but Barbara Corcoran started my real estate company, 30 years ago, maybe more. And she had some real nuggets. And one of her nuggets was, if you're going to make a phone call, stand up, don't be sitting.
Oh, wow.
Because when you're sitting, you're kind of like talking. But if you're standing, well, the property is worth, the comps down the street are, and you're engaged. You're engaged with your whole body, and they can feel that energy. But if you're kind of sitting here and going, well, the comps say that it's probably worth, I don't know. It's just, that was a really good gem from her.
Oh, that's awesome. And we've been talking for like since 2014, and I never knew who started your real estate company. It's really neat the new things you find out the more you do Talk Swap.
Yeah. You're always saying that to me. Are you kidding me? How long have I known you? And I didn't know you got the blah, 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 thing.
And for everyone out there, Traci has led an amazing life. So many things I don't know, and they're so amazing. Okay, back to you.
Back to you. You were saying that sometimes you get depressed. You have these great ideas, and we have these great ideas, but then we just sort of like get the axe out and we just start chipping them down. Yeah, not that great. It's not that great. I'm going to chop all these down, and then I have 2 left, but they're actually not great, because when I had all those ideas together, it felt better. But since those ideas aren't very good, are these 2 worth it? And we do that to ourselves. Like, I'll have a really great idea. I'm going to do this real estate podcast, and then I go, you know what? I mean, I sell houses in the Hamptons to people who are bazillionaires, millionaires, and my house isn't one of those. So, I don't have a really good backdrop. And I see these TikTok videos with these really young people in these beautiful, like, white kitchens. I'm like, are they in a studio, or does everybody live in places that look like this now? What, am I missing something? I'm a real estate agent. How can I have this background with a 12-year-old TV or a 20-year-old TV? So I'm like, nah, it probably won't work. I probably shouldn't do it until I get a really big white house, right? We just beat ourselves up.
So you want to run for president, get elected, and you can do it because you'll be in the White House.
Yeah, exactly. The White House. Your road trip, 20 towns in Iowa. What I thought of was, did you have 20 cups of coffee? Did you stop at every place and just get a cup so that you could keep going? And I was like, that's a lot of coffee. So probably not. And then I thought,
I hate coffee, so nope. I
so
did
no.
not.
And then I thought, I was thinking about all the people in each of those towns. And, we all live in a small town. Some of us live in a city, but we live in a neighborhood within a city. And it's just our little intimate place where we sort of see people that we recognize. And it just feels like, this is the only place. But there's so many of them. And you drove to 20 of them in one day until 10 o'clock before you fell asleep. And think of all those people and all those families and all those homesteads and places that have been owned by families for generations that are out there. And they're all white. You're driving around in seeing mostly snow. So you're not really seeing a whole lot of stuff, maybe.
Or actually, Iowa is wonderful because it's south of where I am, and there's no snow in
Okay.
the part of Iowa I was in, so it's kind of going south to warm weather, but it's just Iowa.
Oh,
But
just Iowa.
no, I love it. It's funny though. Most people go to Florida. I go to Iowa.
Yeah, that's your Florida. You were talking about, can we break down how we can learn to monetize that, how do I monetize what I love? My primary goal in life is to love what I do and be of service.
Mm.
And then I said this to someone the other day who just moved to a new town. Don't ask how, because we always want to know how. I have a dream. How am I going to do it? Not yet. Like, how just means I'm not there yet. Not yet means I'm not there. And if I keep saying not yet and how, it's always going to stay away. It's always going to stay away. So we need to throw out how and maybe even when, but to do what you love to do, and which you did yesterday. You might not do it every day or once a month or once a year, driving around to as many towns as you can get. You think of all the people that you could meet. Think of all the churches. Think of all the high schools. Think of all the venues that you could speak in. If you had one of your awkwardly awesome, really cool postcards that Chris makes, and drop one off in every church and every high school and every drugstore. And so that would be equivalent to getting a coffee. Maybe just leave one in one church or one doctor's office or whatever, one YMCA. So you're doing what you love, and you're also spreading your seed around.
Mm.
So don't ask how. Just know that you are doing what you love and you are being of service, and the money will come. One thing, when I started real estate 20 years ago, I was in the back room. They didn't give me a desk. I was in the back room where the copier was. And I was like, I took a picture of a frozen pond, and, they had a skating sailboat. They were skating on a sailboat on the ice. And I put that, and I said, I'm great. I'm hardworking. I'll sell your house for you. I put it in 2 mailboxes, and then someone yelled at me and said, you can't do that. You have to go through the post office. I was like, okay. And then my manager said, I'm going to Barbados for a month. And when I come back, I expect you should have your first exclusive. There's no reason why you can't have your exclusive in a month. I'm like, where am I going to get it? And the story doesn't really matter, but I've been doing it for 20 years, and I created something out of nothing. Even my little sheet that I was going to give to everybody, I only gave out 5. One guy said, hey, I saw you trudging through the snow, and I got your mailer, and you're going to be a success. But that's really all I ever did, to start from nothing. So, think of the universe. Did it start with a big bang? Did it start in some other way? But it's, everything came from nothing. Even a baby comes from nothing.
Mm.
And yeah, you spent money. You didn't make any money, but you never know. The universe is always got your back.
Mm.
And it doesn't, you said ideas come in linear ways. Oh, but abundance doesn't always come in linear ways.
Mm.
And then you said, I don't know if you said this or I wrote this down, but be comfortable. Find comfort in not knowing. Because we'll just make ourselves insane if we're not comfortable not knowing. And, you know, where are the answers? Are they in the next town, or are they in this town where you are right now? And the quote from Jack Kornfield, he's a Buddhist monk, and I sat with him a couple times. He's really amazing, but he said, I wish I could find it, but I'm not going to waste time looking for it because I feel, you know, I feel whatever, time crunch. But he said, you know, don't measure your life in achievements, but measure your life in impossible, that every second is an impossible miracle that will never
Oh,
happen again. It's just every moment is a miracle that you'll never have it again. The end.
wow, wow. That's beautiful. Uh, and for those of you listening, I want you to realize that this is who Traci is. Jack Cornfield is really famous, and then you're like, oh, by the way, I sat with Jack Cornfield a few times. Oh, by the way, it's amazing.
I didn't think it was like that. I'll tell a funny story about Jack Cornfield. We were at Mount Madonna in California, and it was really hot, and it was time to leave. And I had my little black, maybe it was a gray Acura, and we were leaving, and he was leaving too. And my car was really hot because it was black inside. And I had a couple cans of Coke that had been there all weekend. And I remember him sort of driving by, and I go, there's Jack Cornfield. And I go, he's driving a shittier car than I am. He was driving an old beat up gray. I was like, well, I thought if you're enlightened and, you know, teaching thousands of people about enlightenment, that you'd have a better car. So it's kind of like, so I was judging him. Why do I have a better car than this dude? Anyway, I went to touch my Coke, and it was so hot that it blew up, just blew up in my car, just Coke everywhere. And I was like, ah, and my windows were down. So it kind of went everywhere. And he was going by right at that time. And he looked at me and he went, his face was like, what's happening? And he didn't stop to see if you're okay. He probably just wanted to go back to Marin and, you know, take a nap. But, you know, I got to sit with him for a day and a half. And then the last time I ever saw him, he was making this really appalled looking face, like, what could possibly be happening in that car? I didn't say my Coke blew up. It just looked like shit flying everywhere. I don't know.
Well.
So this was our talk swap, everybody.
That must have been really hot to touch a can and for it to explode.
Yeah. Under pressure for a long time.
Wow. So this is a talk swap. And
usually
yeah.
usually at this point we say, so we want to do same time next week, and then we look at our calendars, and then whoever's running the show, whoever's running the Zoom has the power to say the meeting is over, and you always have to click it twice. You say leave meeting and then turn it off, and meanwhile we're going bye bye. It's always so awkward, but it is what happens.
I'm glad you brought that up though, about how we do schedule the next talk swap at the end of the previous one. What we found is that each talk swap accumulates in the conversation. I was going to say the conversation becomes deeper all the time, but not necessarily. So some talk swaps are deep, some are more of we both talk about I had this going on and this is frustrating. And one of the things I love about TalkSwap is we can just come as we are and talk about whatever's going on. So, what do you think?
Well, I think in the beginning, I think it was more like, I'm going to do a talk as if I'm talking to people. I'm going to sort of make it up as I go along. And then you
Oh
might
yeah,
start to
that's
do that.
true.
But I think as time has gone on, we've sort of just gotten to know each other. So we sort of turn the talk into, I'm going through this thing. And, it's not so much a talk as if like a talk, like we're talking to people. It's just sort of talking, but we help each other out. I have missed that a little bit, but the the feedback is awesome no matter what. Either way, you always make me feel awesome. You know, you talk to a therapist and they go, that's interesting. They don't really. And that's not knocking therapists, because anybody who'll listen to me, it's great. But you always make me feel good. You're like, wait, what? You sat with Jack Cornfield? How come you didn't tell me this before? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think about it, And then I go, oh, I did sit with him, and that was really amazing. And maybe I should sit some more, pull out one of his, cassette tapes. And I hope for you, like I sent you that thing the other day about Marie
Oh
Forleo,
yeah.
because one of your things is that you send out an email or you call someone, you do cold calls, or you say, hey, we met the other day and you said you were interested, so I'm just following up. And then they don't respond and you go crazy, just make yourself crazy. And, that's a theme that we talk about a lot. And listening to her say, you don't say, by the way, the email I sent to you last week when you said you were going to reply, maybe it got lost in the ether because I haven't heard back from you. She just says, hey, I hope you're doing great. Maybe you missed my last email. Just wanted to follow up. Are you available next week? And just leave it there. And she said, and usually they go, oh, I completely forgot, because we have our own lives and we're really intent on focusing on each other right now. But after it's over, I've got papers everywhere. I'm doing my taxes. I'll go back to that, and I won't be thinking about the talk swap. And so we have to give the people that said they'll get back to us, a break, and just keep bugging them, keep, nudging.
And great ideas come out of talk swaps. Like you said just have Chris make up a postcard and drop them off. And I mean, it's not like a one sheet. It's not like the expense of giving everyone a book or a book and a kind of a gift basket. It's just a postcard and the hi and a little Jason and energy and going on my way. That's a really great idea. I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah, you're doing your thing. You're pollinating. You're pollinating your message, even if it's just a little. But his stuff, the Awkwardly Awesome podcast. People are like, that's weird. Well, I feel awkward, but I'm awesome. Like it's so attractive that you want to see what it is. And they say direct mail, if you get 10% back or 1% back, you're doing well. But then you do it again in 6 months. You drive around the same town and do it again. And just the act, I swear, just the act of doing it will bring a result. Like when I sent out that stuff, when I just started out of nothing, I just said, I have to start working on this because I need, it always comes out of left field. We always talk about that, right? You're focusing on this, you're giving out your postcards, you're making your cold calls, and you get a referral or an inquiry from the place you weren't even trying for, because the universe is quantum and it hears you, it feels you. And so it doesn't have to be that church in Iowa. It could be, someplace in Nevada. You're like, what? So,
And at the end of each of these podcasts, I usually ask my guests what imperfect best means to them, and let's just talk quickly about what imperfect best means in terms of a talk swap. What would you say?
well, there's no pressure. I don't have to rehearse anything. I don't have to prepare anything. I just get to be me. You're totally not, you're not judgmental, or if you do judge me, you don't reveal it. You're just like, you're awesome. You might be awkward. I remember when we were doing talk swaps and Kyle wanted me to do a one woman show here in my hometown. And I was like, I did it in LA and it was fine. He was there. It was good. I didn't have a script. I just did it. And I said, I don't know how to do it. And you said, just channel it. Just channel. Just go. And you just said, go. And I was right here at the same table. And I just went. You just said, you can do it. Channel it. And it just like came through me. And that's what you give to me. You give me the confidence to be awkward. And maybe it comes through, maybe it doesn't. But that's what it means to me. It's just coming as you are.
So sometimes you would say like the need to rehearse, the need to script, the need to make it absolutely perfect gets in the way of
Doing anything, starting
mm,
anything.
yeah. So imperfect best really does help us to move forward.
Yeah. How
Well
about you?
well well it was fun doing another talk swap with you. Thank you, Traci. Thanks, my friend.
You're welcome. Thank you. And we'll do it next week. We'll do another one. We'll look at our calendars, but not right now because people are wanting to go.
Yeah, they know what it looks like to look at calendars and stuff. We don't need to. Just imagine Traci and I looking at our calendars. Ah, that felt really good. I urge you to try talk swap with someone you want to get to know better. Maybe a friend, a family member, a colleague, and and it just like we said, it accumulates over time. The more talk swaps Traci and I do, the more comfortable we go with it, the more stories we share, and it's just fun. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the live, that's awesome. If you're watching the replay, that's awesome. And if you have comments or questions, or if you try Talk Swap and have an experience, leave a comment or message me, and that'd be fun to hear from you. Next week, Heather Thomas is interviewing Jason Freeman. Hey, that's me. And I don't know what questions she's going to ask. I don't know where the conversation is going to go, but I'll find out next Wednesday. And if you watch, then you'll find out too. And and so as always, thanks for being you. You are the best you in the world because you are the only you in the world. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.